Today we're going to go out to Accessfreightliner.com for one of our assignments. And we go out there to Accessfreightliner.com, we get the Daimler Trucks North America website here, and up in this right hand corner we have a spot where we can log in. We go to log in and we see our username here, and my screen has come up C70CAEGL. The password then is going to be Western with a capital W 16. We'll check and make sure that I typed that in okay. And that looks good, and we hit the login button. And here we get our first screen. We are going to go to Service Pro, where our service literature is stored for Access Freightliner, because the first two tests we're going to deal with are going to be on the trucks themselves. We get this pop-up box here. If you're having problems with your home computer, you might want to check and see if your pop-ups are allowed. And we're going to choose one of our website or one of our VIN numbers we use, our serial numbers. The last 6 digits of the VIN is going to be 636250. If they've been used recently in the past, a lot of times they're stored in this little drop-down menu over here. We click on that, and we will go ahead and click OK in that box. And here comes our basic information. It tells us that the registered customer is WWTC Diesel School. It shows that this is an FLD 120 and when it was ordered and built. Gives us some information on the rails, how heavy the front and rear axles are, what the paint color is, different things like that. And there are some answers to some of your test questions in this very basic information. Where we're going to go from the basic information then is we are going to go to our service literature over here on the left hand column. Under service literature you see driver's manual, a maintenance manual, and our workshop and service manuals. Our driver's manual would be very similar to what you have in the glove box of your car. This would be your things on how to operate the different features that the vehicle has. It would have you some safety information here. It'd talk about vehicle identification. There's a lot of different information right in this area here. So when we talk about the owner's manual and stuff like that, let's just say instrument and controls identification. And any one of these here is a link that we can click on. We click on instrument and controls identification, and let's just go to our instrument and control panel. So here, for a new driver getting into this vehicle, or for you as a technician getting there and wanting to know how to operate this truck to get it in the shop or something like that, there's information on all the different gauges and all that here. Very similar, like we talked about, with it's just like what you'd have in your glove box of your car for an owner's manual. We close this screen here. Driver's manual, it's just like I said, basically, it talks about operating the vehicle itself. Your steering system, your brake system, all things that be associated with the operation of the vehicle. We go to our maintenance manual then, and this is where we think about preventive maintenance. There's probably going to be some information in here on what lubricants to use. There's going to be information on here on how to service things. Here's your air intake, your air cleaner element inspecting and replacing. Talks about how many inches of water that should pull there and everything, and when to replace that particular air filter. We go through this, frame and frame components, suspension, front axle, your rear axle, your wheels and tires, your drive lines. All these things here, what we would be talking about with preventive maintenance. If we go to engine here, talks about engine drive belt inspecting, engine noise panel inspecting. We can go through this entire thing. I mean, there's things on the fan hub here. Your clutch, release bearings and lubrication points. Allison transmission fluid and filter changing, manual transmission, magnetic plug clean, oil changing, oil filter element changing. All things in here that would relate with preventive maintenance procedures that we would have, on this truck. If we go all the way back up to the top of this here, anything that we touch on here, these are all links over here. torque spec tables, vehicle maintenance schedule tables. We go down to that here, and it talks about when particular services should be taken care of. Maintenance service tables here, Schedule 1, Schedule 2. Schedule 1 severe service of vehicles that travel less than 6,000 miles annually. Short haul transportation, long haul transportation, and when there are different oil changes and different things should be done. And that's all the things you're going to find in the maintenance manual. Really think about what preventive maintenance measures we'd have, that we'd want to find out information about, the PM on this particular vehicle. And then finally over here we have our workshop service manuals. Workshop service manuals, that is where we talk about, the actual repair of these trucks. And they break it out into these sections over here. And each one of these little books, you can open these. You can click on it by itself and just open it right up. For example, if I were to take the alternators and starters here, I can open the whole thing up. The whole book. And then down through here, anytime we want to open one of these, so we talk about the starters and everything, and we talk about troubleshooting, we talk about removal and installation. Removal and installation, they're going to give us, procedures for, taking that starter in and out. Over here, troubleshooting, they're going to get into, what happens with our the batteries are undercharged. Do a load test on the batteries. A problem starts, cranks slowly or not at all. These is just kind of troubleshooting tables to help us get through and do some actual troubleshooting. They got some troubleshooting trees here. And these are things that you're going to use in electrical when you get over into that course. We go down here a ways, and let's say I'm putting a transmission back into a truck. And I've got a manual transmission, so I go to my manual transmission removal and installation here. Shows this, it talks about the removal of it and everything, and then it goes ahead and it goes through the steps for reinstalling it. And then down here at the end, it talks about, let's see, where we actually put the transmission in there. Push transmission forward, and then it talks about torquing those fasteners up that you're going to have on that particular transmission. So torque specs are in this book. Procedures and steps on how to do things. And it's all broken out for you in these different categories over here. Take your choice of which one that you need to be in. I think we talk about on one of the questions, we might talk about ride height on a particular suspension. So let's go to the Freightliner airliner suspension over here. And we open that up. And we've got down here possibly either in your general information possibly, for setting that ride height, where it should be at. If it isn't in general information, we can maybe go down here to our specifications and see if it's in there, what our ride height should be. We could also possibly go to principles of operation. We've got general guidelines in here. We've got, all different categories here, and for different suspensions as well. We go down to our, let's just pick one here. Let's take our rear axle ones. They talk about rear axle oil seals here. We'll pick the Eaton one. And it talks about putting wheel seals in and installing that seal and everything in the hub and onto that spindle. So that's where all of our information for repairs comes for the workshop service manuals over here. So to recap a little bit, your drivers here is going to be for basically like what you've got in your glove box of your vehicle. Your maintenance is going to be for all your preventive maintenance information. And then your workshop service manuals are going to be for your repairs and your adjustments and things along those lines. I hope that this video helped today, and I hope this is a good start to getting our feet wet in Access Freightliner. So we'll go ahead and we'll put that test out there, and I wish you the best of luck on it. If you have questions, always please feel free to contact me, stop me in the hallway, whatever we need to do to make sure we get our answers handled. Alright, have a great day, and thank you very much.